Hello Vikings and welcome back to the dev server for the upcoming Sky Guardians update. I've got a nice little list of all the major, impactful changes on the ready, so I will just be going through that. And first up, starting with the US, the M13 and M16 now have a bug that would cause the ammunition not to explode on them have been fixed, so they should now be overall easier to kill. Not that that was really an issue. Going down the tree, we got the first new vehicle, the T1E1. Not much to say about this one. It is pretty much a copy-paste, as the exact same armament as the M6. The place where it really differs, though, is in the engine and, in particular, the transmission. We got the same speed forwards and backwards here, unlike on the M6. Actually, I think we basically just have, the whole of the mutant basically directly transferred back to its original glory in the form of the T1. So same armament as the M6, same armor as the M6, but we got a different transmission, giving it a slightly higher top speed and much better reverse speed. Next up, the Bulldog has had its turret traverse significantly decreased, going from a 36-degree maximum to a 24-degree maximum. Should still work fine though, it's not like that is its saving grace. The T54E1 has had its reverse speed decreased, 8.4 kilometers an hour now, so should be a bit easier to deal with them before they get themselves back into cover. Of course, they generally just shoot you twice before you reload once. And finally, for the US Ground Forces, the LEV AD now goes at 10 kilometers in water instead of 6.4. For helicopters, we got the second new vehicle, the Little Bird. Tenno sitting in its own little branch. We get the usual armaments of Hydras. We got Hellfires. We get a new gun pod with a 50 cal Gatling and the relatively new radar guided rockets. Nothing too fancy there. You'll probably end up using the rockets a fair bit. As you need to unlock them before you get the Hellfire. Additionally, the Huey B and C both get custom loadouts now. Actually, I have it right here for that exact purpose. So you can experiment a bit with that. We have a bunch of new bombs. Incendiary bombs for... I don't have these in the right order because I've just copied them over directly. The F80A5 gets a... No, C10, sorry. Gets new incendiary bombs. That is an odd arrangement. And additionally, this entire plane just has a lot more bombs now. Let's see here. P51... this is a bit further up. D30, as well as the 5NA, now have the incendiary bombs as well. And so does the ADs, the AD2 and AD4. The B29 has a new loadout with 4 4,000 pound bombs. The American Harriers, the AV-8s, also get new incendiary bombs. Both the Tech 3 and the Premium, and the A4B as well. It's the, it's this one, the Mark 79, 1,000 pound napalm bomb. And then finally, that's not even actually finally, we have a new American Premium Phantom. I'm not really that into top tier planes, but I will show you all what there is to set it up with. And yeah, we got some new custom weapon loadouts for America as well. The F-80 C-10, the F-84s, the B-26 and the 21 both get custom weapon loadouts, as well as the B-57B now gets a custom weaponry. We also got 2 new ships being added for America. We got the USS Nevada, a battleship with a pretty big shit ton of AA. That is a very big shit ton of AA actually. We got new X-ray as well to better highlight all the things on big ships in particular, but also applies to tanks and aircraft. Now color coded, so it's easier to tell where everything is. And as you can see, marked in this slightly pale red, there is a lot of guns scattered in this thing. We also have a new premium. Both of these have already been in the dev blogs. The USS Des Moines. Also cannon. Well, not also cannon. But very quick reloading 203mm guns. The AA is not as horrifying as I first thought, because the 76 is the 3 inches, at least as far as I've been able to tell from other ships with the same guns, do not get any sort of proxy fuses or time fuses, but let's just see here, just to be sure.
Action stations, man your posts.
AA fire only. There we go, that's the 20 mils, and the 76 is opening up. The 76s do indeed have fuses on them.
Action stations.
Yeah,
Spotted.
that is gonna be horrifying for AA. Moving on to the Germans. We have probably the vehicle I am the most excited about for this entire patch. The Sonderkraftfahrzeug, I don't know how to say 222 in German. But the armored cars that kind of started the armored car craze. We got the squeeze-bore chassis that a lot of people know and love. But this time we got it with a 20mm autocannon on the roof. How awesome is that? This is more or less the same turret as the premium we got over here. Yeah, it's even the same gun. As well as the old event Puma with the 20mm as well. I'm just so excited. There's going to be a video on this coming out very soon. Well, as soon as the update comes out. We again, Bulldog, less turret traverse, and then we have yet another new tank for Germany. The T-72M1. This is the same as the T-72 Sweden gets, and effectively the same as the T-72A. that Russia gets at the same VR. So nothing too major there, but still nice to see some East German vehicles in the German tree. We also got custom weaponry on the German Huey, and the gun parts for all these gun parts have their weight reduced, and in some cases ammunition capacity reduced, and that goes for the bows and the Tiger in the German tree. We got some fairly major changes in the aircraft. Well, major changes, fairly major, I don't know, little tweaks maybe. The big air-to-air rockets that a lot of German vehicles get. Is it this one? No, it's this one that gets them. Yes, these. Whatever gunner now fires individually, so a lot more chances to do stuff with them now. Especially as most planes only carries 2 or 4 of them. And on top of that, the Junkers D and G variants have had their turret targeting angles adjusted slightly. They now have 10 degrees more in traverse, and they go up an extra 10 degrees, but go down 5 degrees less. On top of that, we have a whole slew of planes that have had the incendiary bombs added, including the 109E4 and upwards. The Focke-Wulfs that can carry bombs have all had incendiaries added. The Stukas have had incendiary bombs, and rather big ones added as well. The BDR and the Ds all get incendiaries. The Heinkel 111s all get incendiary bombs as well. So does the Junkers 88s and the Heinkel 177. On top of that, we also have a new quote-unquote German plane, where you get a MiG-29 in the German tree. And I believe this is effectively just a copy and paste. Get nothing new for Blue Water, but we do get a new top-ranking motor torpedo boat, the Arrow. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that because I'm probably gonna fuck it up. But yes, German Arrow, the usual post-war Bofors with ridiculous rate of fire and lots of high explosives and a bunch of torpedoes, so nothing much to write home about there. For Russia, we got a whole slew of changes to the existing vehicles, starting off with the Gaz AA now being able to reach a top speed of 65 kilometers an hour instead of the previous 45. The Gaz MM at 2.3 has also had its top speed increased, however to 70 kilometers an hour instead of the previous 45. The Su-57 premium tank destroyer has 4 crew instead of 5, because if there was one thing Russians were short on in World War II, it was manpower. The KV-2 has had its main shell changed to a semi-armor piercing, which does result in some reduced penetration, but you'll be kidding, everybody's using the high explosive anyway. Actually, hang on. It might just be worth using the standard G530 now. You have similar explosive mass with granted with a much higher fuse at 19mm, but you will have a better punch and stuff with a bit more armor. I'll have to look into that when it goes live, and it of course applies to the premium KV-2 as well. The Next thing up is one of the new vehicles, the M53/59, also known as the Praga, a Czech vehicle, fairly early post-war AA, same sort of era as the ZSU 57-2 that we have oh so many of in game by now. A truck with a twin 30mm autocannon setup and absolutely massive magazines. I'm really excited about this one. I'm a bit disappointed it's in the Russian tree, maybe, but honestly, I don't really care because I've been wanting this thing in ages. And now it's finally getting here. Moving on along, the T-34-100 has had 20 rounds taken off of its maximum capacity, which makes sense because cramming 50 100mm shells into a T-54 is kind of stupid. And finally, for Russian ground, we got the Panzer 1. Well, Panzer S1. This is basically just a better Tunguska. We got the same autocannons, we got 2 more missiles, because why the hell not? And on top of that, the missiles have a freaking 18-kilometer range, which is just ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous, but at the same time, we need better AA in everything, really. Never mind that. Moving on swiftly, we got helicopters. The Mi-24V had a modification that wasn't there or was missing, restored. So nothing really important there. And the Ka-29 has custom weaponry setups now. Aviation though, we have a whole slew of changes. We got a new Lobia premium starter premium vehicle, which means the old one is now going to be available as a standard premium for 400 Eagles. The Tu-2s, all of them, have new bomb layouts and, well, I say layouts. New bomb types, I suppose. They've changed the armaments and increased the maximum payload to 3 tons, 3 1000s. The Tu-14 has also had its bomb loads adjusted. It can carry 12 of the 250s instead of 8. It can carry 6 of the 500s instead of 4. 2 of the 1000s instead of 1 of the 1000s instead of 2, but 2 of the 1500s instead of 1 for some reason. Don't ask me why. And then finally we have the new Yak-141. I really want this plane, partly because of its funny butt. It just looks, I don't know, it just looks sci-fi with the way it's set up, and I mean, adding to it that it's VTOL only really furthers that. Better show armaments for the top tier fanboys, otherwise they're gonna shout at me. Lots of different kinds of missiles, so go nuts there. We also got new custom weaponry, well, loadouts for the IL-10s, the Tu-2s, and the IL-28SH. I've made a loadout here with a ton of bombs and the rockets. Finally, for Russia, we get a new boat. With the 57mm autocannons and a crap ton of fairly big rockets. What caliber are those? It will not tell me, but they do weigh 113 kilos, so pretty big rockets. Moving on along to Britain. Not a lot of changes to their existing vehicles, but we get a new Churchill with Ba-bam! A 75mm gun. But it's not the short, useless 75. This is the Sherman 75. Which does mean we have the filler round with just over 100mm of pen. It is a Churchill 3 that's been modified with a Churchill 4 turret, essentially, with the front heavily modified to be able to fit this rather funny little gun assembly. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fun. Next up, we got a change to the Chieftain Marksman. Probably because of another addition we'll get to later. It now has a laser rangefinder, because that's going to be useful on an AA vehicle with radar guidance. And finally, for British ground, we got the Challenger 2E, a export version of the Challenger, or intended export version of the Challenger. We've ditched all the fancy additional armor and stuff for a bigger, beefier engine and a 50 cal. So not a lot to say there either. Helicopters, the Lynxes now get custom loadouts. Aviation, however, we got a whole lot of changes. Starting off with the Beaufighters. Put them down here to make it easier. The Beaufighters now all have updated models, looking nice and crisp, seeing as their models was from when they were originally added. And in addition to that, the Beaufighters can now carry bombs, which actually puts them back into a rather strong contention for close air support. The Mark 6 can only carry 500s, but the later ones get 1000s as well and can carry more of the smaller ones, obviously. And the same goes for the Mark 21 new bombs and a new little bump on his snoot. Besides that, we got updated models on the Lancaster, so you can now bleed lions in style. Much bigger, much fatter. That radar bulge has gotten a lot bigger. But I mean, it just generally looks rather nice, and obviously it's both of them that have had their looks updated. Additionally, however, we get something else fun. We get new bombs. And they are big. We get the 800 pound and the 1200 pound. That is the new biggest bomb in the game. Basically adding about a ton worth to the PE8. And I mean, we got 4 tons of TNT. Well, 4 tons of explosives, which adds up to just over 6 tons of TNT equivalent. I gotta compare that to the PE8. Yeah, a full ton more than the PE8 in explosive mass. So that's gonna be fun. And it is, of course, both on the Mark III and the Mark I that we get these new bombs. Probably the Harrier GR1 gets incendiary bombs, same as the Americans. And then we have the new Tornado F3 for Britain. A fighter version of the Tornado gets lots of missiles. And for custom weaponry loadout, the Brigand now has that option as well. Not that you can really do anything other than add some rockets to the existing bomb loads. We also get 2 new Coastal Fleet vessels. Let's start with the premium HMS Whitby. This is the namesake for the this class of frigate, the Whitby frigates. And well, it's basically just equivalent to the Blackpool. We also have a new Canadian ship. the HMCS Terra Nova, which has a rather interesting front gun, and a rear gun that we have seen before on a lot of the Japanese and American higher frigates with autocannons. Moving on to Japan, we got a minor but rather important little change. The the Japanese Sherman has lost nearly a ton of weight, seeing as the weight estimate it was based on was with add-on track armor that it does not get, only the American one does. So it should be a little bit more responsive and a little bit more maneuverable when it goes into battle now. On top of that, we get a new premium. The Titan is 74, has not been for sale for a while. And we now get the Type 16 first production series. That is what the FPS stands for, not first person suffering. It is effectively the same as the Premium Striker we got recently and the Premium 2A4 we got a while back. It is just a slight reskin of the Tech Tree version of the Type 16, the Type 16 prototype. We got no news for their helicopters, but we do get a little bit of something for the Air Force that Japanese players will probably be, I don't know, have mixed feelings about. We get a Japanese F-16. I mean, it's really just F-16. I don't know what else I can say. And finally, we have a destroyer, premium destroyer. We've already seen in the dev blogs as well. The Nohi. China, however, we get an early version of the 222. We got the slower cycle gun with a bigger magazine. And it should have a weaker engine as well. We also got a change to the Type 63-1 vehicle that doesn't look that good on paper, but I just absolutely love, and it just fucking works for me. It now moves a little bit faster in water, 11.7 instead of 10. Moving on downwards a little bit, the reason for that change comes in the form of the ZTS-63, basically just an upgraded version of the Type 63. Comes with a laser rangefinder now, as well as a dart round with rather crappy pen, I must admit. Adding on to that, we got the PGZ-09 with all of 40 rounds of ammunition more now. And the ATF-09 have had the elevation speed increased, actually doubled from 5 degrees to 10 degrees a second, and it has had the traverse halved from 30 to 15. Nothing new for helicopters here either, but we do have 2 changes to aircraft. First of all, the F-100 gets incendiary bombs now, and the J-8B gets a ballistic computer for bombs and rockets. Next up with Italy, we got no real changes until the very end. All the Ariettas now have the M53 instead of the CL3142 rounds, and we got a new one, which is basically just your buck standard Ariete, but with a much beefier engine. For helicopters, we have, well, first of all, the snaps have been changed to Mighty Mouse, and we have the same gun pads on some of the helicopters here. These 2 that have been changed. These gun pads have been changed in weight and ammunition capacity, being reduced a bit in both. If I can hit the right button here, same goes as well for this one. And the AB-205 now gets custom weaponry. But honestly, why bother? Because you only really... I mean... You only get one option for each pylon damage Gaijin. Which, by the way, is one you already fucking have. Default. Why? Goddamn Gaijin. Anyway, moving on rather swiftly. We got new bombs on all the G91s. At least all of them. We got a napalm bomb on those as well. Hopping on down along the line. We got a new French Lobia vehicle, the 2C. Last patch we got the 2C Biz, which is basically a howitzer mounting version of this. I know it has fairly decent armor, and it's just a massive monster and a pain to kill, but honestly 2.7 is way too high, Gaijin. Move it down to 1.7. On top of that, we got a few little tweaks for the aircraft. We got the P-63, gets a rather nasty complement of incendiary bombs. And the F-8F also gets some incendiary bombs to drop on enemies. And the Mirage has had its ammo load reduced from 270 to 250. And then of course we have probably the biggest disappointment for me for this entire patch. The first French ship, which is absolute and utter fucking crap. Because all these little 37mm quote-unquote AA guns don't do fuck all against AA. But they only fire standard high explosive, so good luck scoring a direct hit with them. And the main turrets are powered by turtles, so those are gonna be a pain to get on target, but they do pack quite the punch when they get there. Nearing the end now, we got a new addition to Sweden. We get a new AA for 8.3, which is quite nice, seeing as the V got moved up to 8.7. We get a Leopard Marksman, is what I'm just gonna call it. It's a Leopard hull with the Marksman turret, and probably the reason why we got a laser rangefinder on the British Marksman now. The only issue I have with the Marksman is how far apart the guns are mounted. It is quite a pain, but other than that, I'm just happy we get a new, well, a replacement 8.3 AA. Now, if only we could get some more stuff in this sort of area, Gaijin. On top of that, the 105, STRV 105, had the transmission fixed, so it is now matching other vehicles of similar types, so other very modified Centurions. And the Bill no longer takes engine damage because of slightly dipping into water. So that's nice as well. We got a new armament for the aircraft. The A-32A has finally gotten the incendiary bombs that was kind of part of the entire purpose of the plane. The Swedes loved incendiary bombs. The Darkin could carry them as well. On top of that, we have a whole bunch of planes that now get custom armaments. The B-18B, the T-18B, and the T-18B-57 now all have custom armaments, so you can pick and match your missile loads as you, well, rocket loads as you want. Firebombs for the Finnish 109s as well, of course, and the Finnish Ju-88. Well, most importantly, I suppose, the SK-60 now gets custom weaponry. So you can now carry both gun pods and rockets instead of one or the other, which is gonna buff that quite significantly for CAS. It's already quite strong. You can now mix and match as you like. The Saab 105 as well. Same options and possibly even stronger on this aircraft than on the SK-60, as I can now carry gun pods, bombs, and missiles all in one go. Well, the premium Stab, of course, also has second custom loadouts for the secondaries. Wouldn't call that as good, as doesn't really have the same as complement. The A32A and the J32B also both get custom weaponry now as well. Not that there's much reason for it on the 32B yet, but maybe we will get some drop tanks and incendiary bombs for that down the line as well. And finally, and lonely, rounding it all off, we got a new Merkaba, which is, as far as I can tell, identical to the Mark 4B. Anyway, that is gonna be it. Let me know what you're most excited about for this upcoming patch. Let me know what you're most disappointed about. Just generally let me know what you think. That is gonna be it, and hopefully I will see you back around when the patch drops for some fun shenanigans in some of the new vehicles.